Hi gang, Bart here for Craft-Bilt Materials Limited. We're going to be doing a series of videos on how you properly design and test a railing system. What we're showing you here today, in our shop what we've done is we've poured an actual concrete slab that we're going to use for testing. This concrete slab has been poured at 30 MPa, which is a typical slab strength, and it has been certified by a testing agency. Now when it comes to testing on concrete, really what we're testing are the anchors. We do the physical testing of our railing in another setup. Anchors require a higher safety factor than the railing assembly itself. We've actually made steel duplicates of our posts. If you're looking at buying a railing that has holes that won't even barely pass a 1/4-inch anchor, easily passes a number 12 anchor, head for the hills. Okay? If you're looking at a railing that has a simple thin plate, a small plate with close fastener spacing, head for the hills. Compare this to a properly designed post base that allows for 3/8 diameter anchors. Folks, we test our railing extensively. We've tested the competitor's railing. What you'll find is if someone was even able to get an engineer's report on something like this, what they did is they didn't test it with the anchors in wood or concrete. What they did is maybe they bolted it to a steel beam so that they didn't have to test the strength of the anchors they were using, because I can guarantee you that if you put a 1/4-inch screw in here into wood or concrete, that anchor would fail. So furthermore, in a system like this, what they would have done is maybe tested, be lucky if they tested with a 50% safety factor and still passed bolting it to a steel beam. Again, that's the way you do it. That's the way you don't do it. So compare those posts, those items you find at the big box store, that post that comes in a poly bag with these tiny little 1/4-inch screws. You're putting your life in jeopardy. Compare it to what Craft-Bilt sends with their products, 3/8 diameter, galvanized, 6 inches long in the case of wood fastening. A giant 3/8 engineered concrete screw in the case of concrete. Later on in this video you'll be seeing the actual physical tests. These giant concrete screws are amazing. They have higher pull-out values than the conventional wedge anchors. In addition to that, they have closer allowable spacing. What happens when you use an expansion anchor is you stress the concrete, and as soon as the anchors get too close together, you are in risk of cracking that concrete. These type of anchors have much less of that problem. Folks, what we have found, looking at other test reports of other manufacturers' products, is that what you find in the store isn't actually what was in the test report. What we have found, for instance, that in some cases, the test report involves their classic-looking post with an additional outrigger, a little flange inside, more screws, and a bar that has to come up to help resist that force. What you'll find, though, is that outrigger system isn't in the store, and you'll find that contractor that is representing a particular brand has never ever even used that outrigger. Something they put on the piece of paper so you can get your building permit, but something that they don't actually use in the field. When you consider pulling or pushing on this post, what you've got is the effect of a giant crowbar. And that 225 point load, or in our case, that 800 pounds that we're going to test this thing with safety factor, it's a giant crowbar. That force that's applied here is multiplied many, many times by the time you get to that anchor. You've got this tremendous leverage that is being applied to those anchors. Okay, we're ready for our first concrete anchor test.
1 second, I'm just going to...
Using our giant 3/8 concrete screws. We've got our steel setup jig that we use for testing posts. This is the same geometry for the 2 1/4 and the 3-inch. Same base.
Same base for
Yep. Test number 2. Okay, then I'll hold this up straight.
So after we do this test part,
Yep.
we have everything we need to write you a full report, minus the connection to the wood.
Pretty much, I think, because we've done all of the
Done the pickets,
all of the
everything,
assembly, all the assembly.
all the
Okay,
parts of the
okay.
assembly for the point loads.
So 400. For test number 3, we've spaced the post in the corner, 2 inches from each edge. This is sort of a worst case scenario test, actually, because the handrail is bracing the post in a corner in these 2 directions. You could almost have no fasteners at all. But this will just make you feel really comfortable. So what we're showing here is not only can the post be bolted in the corner of the slab and be incredibly strong, but also that the slab didn't crack. Okay, test number 1 on the Craft-Bilt 5.5-inch post. Let me pick this up a little bit. Okay, get started. Test number 2, 5.5-inch post, 3/4 inch by 3 inch wedge bolt anchors.